Boom, what's up everybody? So thought that I would go live. Mike Agliaro here from CEO Warrior. And I've got a question for you that I've been wondering about. I mean, you may not like the question, but your honest answer is pretty critical here. I mean, the question that I have is, as a service business owner, you lead your company. The real thing here is, the real, I guess, underlining question that I would say is, are you a good leader or a bad leader? Because how do you even know whether you're a good leader or a bad leader? Maybe people don't even know the answer. I mean, maybe you think you're a good leader, but you blame others, or you blame people around you, or maybe you don't even realize that just how important this question is. You know, are you a good leader or are you a bad leader? But leadership manages all pieces. I mean, leadership is what moves a company from being struggling to successful, moving from people trying to push them versus them wanting to follow you. And you know, the thing is, most people I don't believe leaders are born. I think they're trained. At least that's my experience. And I think the fact that they weren't trained when they were young by their father or mother or whoever trained them, the fact that that didn't happen also does not mean that you cannot learn leadership and how to implement it. And so many people try to learn leadership from a book, right? Like, I've read tons of John Maxwell books and I got great ideas from John Maxwell, but I never improved my leadership from a book. I mean, there's no substitute for leadership for actually learning a skill set and then putting that skill set in place and then having somebody watch the skill set that you're doing and say, yeah, great leadership skill, bad leadership skill, or improvement on leadership, no improvement on leadership. And that's why I say, like, if you want to really improve your leadership, it's one, you got to learn from people that are leaders and influencers in an industry or in a business that you're in, so that you could say to yourself, wow, the way that person, just like this video now, right? Like, if I was a crappy leader, well, then maybe you shouldn't pay attention to things. But since I consider myself a pretty darn good leader, you might want to say, well, how does Mike present himself here? How does he do the video? How does he communicate with somebody that he can't even see? Like, how does he communicate with somebody that he doesn't even see on the other side? Because I don't want to talk at you. And you might want to write down some of this. And we're only going to make this a short little video, but you definitely want to write this down. You know, leaders talk with, not at. They talk with people. And I've been in so many companies, and now that, you know, CEO Warrior is 5 years young, and what's up, Heath? What's up, everybody that joined? Jeremy and my beautiful wife. Now that CEO Warrior is 5 years young, you know, and we're working with over a couple hundred companies, Australia, Canada, all over the United States, New Zealand, everywhere, is I see this one thing. Now, is leadership the only thing? No, but it's a starting thing. I always tell people, you know, there's 3 critical pieces to building a successful business, building a successful wealth vehicle, or whatever you're doing. One, you got to master the art of marketing, and most people are horrible at it. You got to master the art of sales. I mean, you have to allow value for people to buy. And then the third one that keeps the glue, I mean, it binds the 3 pieces together, is this ability to lead. And lead in a way, well, Heath's on here. Heath was part of my team. Wow, Heath, I don't even know how many years ago that was. He worked for a company, Gray Bar, and I always had the belief as a leader. Here's a leadership belief. My leadership belief was, anytime I found somebody great, they would work for me, right? They would work for gold medal. And I still believe that way today for CEO Warrior. And so if I found somebody I wanted, I hunted them down, made sure it made sense, and gave them a world-class career and education. Heath Munson, what's cool about him being on here, and his amazing wife, Courtney, is that they go back way back when I was growing a company. You know, Heath, if you would be open to this, this would be so wild. Let me know. Hit me up in a private Facebook message. It would be so cool to have you come on and do an interview with all the companies I'm coaching and say, like, what was it like in the old days when Rob and I would come in the supply house, or, you know, we would all go out in the field, or what about, I've told the story, Heath, so many times, and I think this goes back to leadership again. I told the story so many times how, what was it, midnight that night we knocked on that woman's house, I think it was in Hazlitt, coming back from a job, and we knocked on the door, remember? And that woman came out, and I said, you're either going to give us a check or we're going to call the cops right here. Do you remember that night? And I was like, make sure you watch, because I don't want them to say I did anything crazy or anything. What's up, Nate? What's up, David? And so it all comes back to this leadership. It's how you lead anything. And leadership, people get confused with it. They look at it as a leading people. I mean, it's as much as how do you lead what you do with this couch? How do you lead your family? How do you lead your community? How do you lead anywhere you are? You know, and when you nail this down, it could make such a huge change for people. What's up, Brian? It can make a huge change. But, you know, when I look, and if you were to rate yourself, a lot of people rate themselves high as leaders, but their leadership ability has a cap on it, right? Because you don't learn leadership skills and it's done forever. I've never experienced that. Never. You learn leadership skills and then you hone the skills and learn new leadership skills and hone the skills and learn new leadership skills. So when I'm hanging around a lot of the, you know, most brilliant people on the planet, like when I was around Kevin O'Leary and he told Rob and I we were the real deal, like, yeah, okay, that felt great. But I was watching Kevin O'Leary, like, how did it, there was about 6 of us there. How did he run the questions? How did he lead the meeting? How did he take control? Like, that's what I was examining. Everybody else was just listening to what he's saying. Or I'm talking to Jay Abraham again on Thursday. I have a conference call with him. Like, when I'm around him, I say to myself, Alec, how is Jay leading? Sometimes he's talking in front of 10,000 people. Well, how does he lead himself there? You see, you got to look underneath the hood of what really matters. You know, when people go to these big events or small events or things, they should pay attention. What is the teacher doing? What is it? Now, sometimes, I mean, I've been to a lot of stuff where there's a lot of gurus that just need to retire now. Can any of you relate to that? Like, they just, they're just, I hate saying washed up and dried up, because I believe anybody can reinvent themselves. So let's just say they got to reinvent themselves. And you look at them and they don't even know how to lead a room. They don't even know how to communicate to people. What's up, Vince? They don't even know how to participate in a real quality conversation. And this all comes back, a lot of you that joined us, this all comes back to the honest question and critical question is, how do you rate yourself as a leader? And I want to put a bow on this now for all of you. It's not the leader you are today. Are you the leader that you need to get your company to where you want it to go? I just said this on a coaching call we had, I don't know, maybe 100 of our companies we're working with on our weekly call. We do them twice a week. And as I sit there and I was asking them a bunch of questions, it always comes down to this one thing. You know, if you built a $5 million company, do you have $10 million skill sets? Because if you don't, how are you ever going to go to 5 to 10? Most people have underutilized skill sets, leadership skill set. What I mean by underutilized, it's more misunderstood information. What I need you to do is work on your leadership so much that you're a leader of a $20 million company, but you're at 10 moving forward progressively. That's why I've always invested so much in myself. What's up, Vince? What's up, Quentin? I've always invested in myself because I knew I wanted to move my ability of leadership forward faster. And I knew the more forward I went, and Heath Munson, who was on here, this is a great example. The more forward I moved, the faster I pulled my company. The faster I pulled everything with us. How do you go from back when Heath was with us, when we were probably just a little over $1 million to doing $32 million a year, $200 million in a 10-year period. You lead, you communicate, you show the vision, you show the purpose. I mean, Heath was there in midst of some of our biggest growing days. Courtney too. I'd love to have Courtney and Heath, because Courtney actually ended up being my executive assistant, and I was happy and sad. I mean, I was happy she fell in love, and Heath and them fell in love and went on to have a great family and stuff. I was upset because I was losing a great, Heath was managing dispatch and Courtney was managing a lot of my life stuff. But the fact was, I could never have amazing people like them if I did not lead with respect, with power, with caring. You know what I mean? And these are a lot of things that people think they have. You know, it's funny, we did a survey all the time, and during the survey, we would actually have the culture rate our leaders. Like, rate them from 1 to 10, how would you rate them? And it's funny, the guy who thought that he's the best leader in the world, he normally rated the lowest. And then he would try to justify it to me. He would say, you know, Mike, no, it's not that, and it's got to be them. And I said, listen, if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a damn duck. It's not a deer, it's a duck. Don't worry, I'm not mad what it says. I'm only going to be mad if you read it and you don't want to accept what it says so that you can change. This all comes down into leadership, everybody. Does this make sense? So I got to get ready to go get something else done. What I'd like you to do is, if you want to improve your leadership and you want to know a little more about it, I have an amazing resource for you guys. Write this down real quick. It's free. I don't even know if you can still get access to it, but if you can and the system didn't blow up, because we do have tons of people, hundreds and hundreds, I think over 700 people for this thing already, go to servicebusinessgrowth.com, okay? Servicebusinessgrowth.com. All right, I'll say it one more time for you guys. Servicebusinessgrowth.com, and go over there, and as long as the thing didn't shut down already, put your name in if you want to come and hang out in a couple days with me. I'm going to deliver some really great information, not only on leadership, just all kinds of business stuff. I believe it helps anybody that will listen to it, and it's free training, so you might as well take advantage of it. And if anything, show up not to, what's up, Jeremy? Show up not even to listen to what I have to say. Thanks, babe, for typing in, my beautiful wife. Don't show up for what I have to say. Show up for how I do what I have to say. Okay? Does that make sense, everybody? Show up to pay attention on how I do it. Because, look, I believe I'm being a world-class model for all of you on how to build leadership. I mean, I've been leading my martial arts trainings for 34 years. I've been leading a company for, 26 years. I've been a leader at any company that I've ever been in. And it's not about me. What's up, Kelly? It's about you guys. What's up, Eric? And I just want you to embrace the fact of, see where you're at as a leader, see where you want to go, and let's start honing those skills. All right? I'm Mike Aguilar from CEO Warrior. Look, go to servicebusinessgrowth.com right now. Show up there. We'll get you a little bit of freedom and wealth. And for some of you that want market domination, boom, we'll cover that too. All right, see you on the next video.